got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Shawty climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Shawty climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup, though.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
A guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that 2 lead, 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
A good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to PSGL. Timon is off your screen for some reason. There he is. Hello, and welcome back to Premier Sim Gaming Leagues. We are here for the return. I'm very off screen. Hold on. There we go. Now we're all good. We're here for the first race of 2024 and the return of PSGL F3. What a season we've had. We still have a super close season, but in more important matters, my co-commentator has some new jazzy features and setups. So, Timon, let's let everyone hear your brand new microphone.
I mean, it's not that impressive, but it does sound a whole lot better than what I used to have. I mean, I used to have the headset that I have right now on. The mic that you can extend from here is what I used to
that's cool.
to just actually talk through. But yeah, that wasn't that great, especially not working on PC because it was mainly a PlayStation mic. But yeah, I got a proper Audio-Technica mic now. I got a full PC, a monitor, all that stuff. So the only thing missing is a sim rig and a working knee. And then I'm able to join you guys, and then you might be commentating on me soon whenever you buy a PC.
Well,
But,
some racing skill needed as well, mainly. But nonetheless, let's get into the swing of things then, shall we? We are, of course, here at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya for this evening's round, but in more important matters, let's take a look at your drivers' standings heading into this evening. Very close at the top of the order, 9 points separates the last 2 races winner of Mateo and Eleanor Newt. Newt is trying the Jackie Villeneuve championship strategy, where just to take one win somewhere. That win probably needs to come soon because Matteo has 3 to his name, 2 in the last 2 rounds, 1 in Monza, 1 in Singapore, and he is a man on form, winning in other leagues across the board as well. But he leads the championship by 9 points over the German. It's then Zorzo in 3rd. He's 2 points ahead of his Mercedes teammate Covers. Then it is Danielle in 5th, Ian van Unen in 6th with Diogo Silva in 7th, and Johan in 8th, Dirk 9th, and Flopman in 10th. Timon, it's shaping up to be a 2-horse race.
Well, it was shaping up to be a 2-horse race, but Matteo has just showed himself on the scene and he stormed towards the top. 9 points clear off Knuth, and Knuth, unfortunately, last time round crashing in the pit lane, and now Matteo just showing off on that alternative strategy and yeah, just showing off really what pace he has and what he can play with, beating out Flopman that last time round. Flopman only been in PSGL since round number 4, and he's only done 2 races, one of which is a P5 and the other one was a 2nd place. So definitely watch out for Flopman. Now my preparation is amazing and I can quickly check if Flopman is racing today, and he is. So expect Flopman again to show like a really good result. He's been someone that has been on fire and a name that has been tipped to be very quick actually. So that's just something that we have to watch out for. Obviously, this week we have arrived at Spain, Circuit de Catalunya, and we saw some amazing races over on the PC side of things, which actually turned out to be very interesting. And also strategically, this is interesting. You have either you start on the softs or on the hards to make a pit stop towards the medium set of tires. You will see a lot of drivers who start on the softs, make early positions, but then lose at a later stage because of those hard tires just not a whole lot better. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting race, especially on a strategic front, and I'm looking forward to it.
I was having a look to see that I have a track map graphic. Unfortunately, I don't. Well, whether it's not been downloaded or whether I haven't updated yet, it's probably my fault. But a very interesting track here this evening. Of course, it has recently updated, and we have a bit of a different layout. It is now, of course, 14 corners, not 16. I don't really know what my face camera is doing, but it's completely out of sync with my voice, so I do apologise for that. But it is a 14-cornered circuit, known as a bit of a test track time, and it kind of has a mix of everything.
I mean, it does. It used to have a few more slower corners. Obviously, that last sector being revamped as of recently, the Max Verstappen corners, where he was so beautifully able to fend off Kimi Raikkonen for his first victory in the sport. That has been removed. We've gone back towards the old layout, which shows a few more quick and flowing corners. So yeah, it's not really a track of everything now. It's mainly towards the higher speed end of things, and obviously the track is warm, tire temperatures will be interesting, and tire degradation will play a big role as well. But I've seen already in the Discord that the drivers are allowed to ready up, so it will not take long before we are diving in towards the qualifying session to start things off again after, of course, we have had the winter break. And if we look at the calendar to see what's up next, you see that we are currently in round number 8 for Spain, and that we have 3 more races left to go. This will be around Miami, Great Britain on Silverstone, and Bahrain to end things off. 3 very interesting tracks as well to be ending off the season. 4 real races to go. We have 2 men fighting for the title. Will it be Amateo? Will it be Knuf? Or will we somehow get a third driver into the mix?
Yeah,
we'll find it out today.
It's going to take a bit of a stretch, I think, to try and get a third driver into the mix, but this could be very intriguing. We're just getting ready to go for qualifying now, folks. We will be in shortly, but Circuit de Barcelona Catalonia, a track with a lot of PSGL history, a track with a lot of Formula 1 history as well. It's been on the calendar for 32 seasons consecutively, may I add, one of the record breakers. I know it was almost cancelled at one point where it was moved to an October race. That's the only time a Spanish Grand Prix has ever been hosted. Apologies, in September. Not October, in September. It usually happens around May time. It's quite a popular one for European fans to go to due to its location. It's going to be a very popular one for you PSGL fans here this evening, of course, because we've got a great race coming up this evening. Then, of course, we do have PSGL F1 at 8 o'clock as well. You can enjoy James Head and Jessica Ball. Jessica, now a year older, was her birthday soon, so make sure you go and wish her a happy birthday in the stream chat. But forget about F1, forget about everything else. We've got qualifying coming up for the Spanish Grand Prix now, and according to your predictions in our stream poll, you're actually saying Newth to take pole position. Well, it is tied with other, but no one else has said anyone else, so Newth is the favourite for pole. As someone who is very much aware himself even that he's not great at qualifying, could it be a bit of a shock if he took pole here today, Timon?
I certainly am not expecting to do football. Let's just put it that way. I think you maybe have a bigger chance at getting... No, okay, that's just an insult to Knuf. But no, Knuf normally not known as really of a qualifying person, and I'm expecting him again to do great things in the race. But qualifying, definitely not his strong suit. Currently on board with Dirk, and being again the first driver out on track. I think if you do a statistic and look at how many times Dirk has been out first on track, I think we will be close to 100%. It is a little bit laggy. It could be. Hopefully it balances out on stream.
Yeah, it is.
But
a little
otherwise,
bit
it could
laggy,
be that
so
your
I'm gonna try
laptop
fix
is
that.
unable to handle it.
It is a bit laggy.
Because we are experimenting, chat. I am watching through Evan his OBS to try and get the good mic to use as much as possible. But unfortunately, if it doesn't seem to be working out, we
Well,
might have
it's
to
smooth enough,
reset it
Timon.
and
Let's
reset
not
it
be.
towards how it used to be.
let's not be hypocritical here. No, my CPU is cooking slightly, so I do apologise if it's a little bit laggy, but we will have a go of it nonetheless. I'll turn it down to 720p if it doesn't improve in the next coming minutes. Don't worry, folks. But let's get qualifying underway then, shall we? For the Spanish Grand Prix, it's Dirk who is going to be the first man to set a time here, as he is the first man on a push lap. We'll get the track back up on screen. There you go, folks. Let's see what he can do. Rounding through turn number 3 and in towards turn number 4. Funnily enough, this is actually an overtaking opportunity now.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, there are many overtaking opportunities around Circuit de Catalunya. With these cars, how they work, and with how overpowered ERS is, you can pretty much go for an overtake wherever you want. The main thing is in this first qualifying run, though, is to not make any mistakes, to not invalidate, to show yourself, and to just put down a solid bank. And Dirk is certainly doing so, coming up towards the second sector split, driving through the second DRS straight. You can send it up the inside, but watch out that you don't outbrake yourself and take with a bunch of other drivers, because that has happened a few times over in the PC side of things. It's an interesting corner to overtake, but it is still very tricky to do so. Coming through towards the final 2 corners, everyone knows it now. This has been remodeled, and I do also believe that these bumps have disappeared. Also, the bump in the pit lane entry is gone, and it is a 10.655 for Dirk. He starts off qualifying with a pretty decent time.
Yes, there's a pretty decent time there for Dirk. Covers is next on the lap here, and he is heading around in towards the newly refurbished turn number 10, and we can see him heading up towards the newly refurbished final sector. Timon, is it flat through that final corner? Because obviously you're more used to watching or setting up cars. Is it flat through that final corner?
It definitely isn't. You can try it flat, but you would end up in the gravel. I do believe it's a little lift or a tap on the brake. But it's definitely not flat, to my knowledge. You want to turn in as early as possible, and even if you miss the apex a little bit, it is fine. Normally, you even actually have to downshift through that final corner to really keep a little bit more momentum through it. But there are a few more drivers that are on the end of the lap. For example, it is Talas. He's coming towards the line. Let's see what he can do. He puts himself only 10th, 4.5 tenths behind him. Diogo Silva, his teammate, coming towards the line. He puts himself in 9th, and we also see a massive jump from Enzo, making a good road inwards. You have then Dark now up next. Let's see what he can do to put himself also on the board. It is a 10.8, so everyone being very close towards each other. Only 2 of a second radio difference from each other. And we've got both Alfa Romeos coming towards the line. Now, I do believe it is Fede first, if I would have to guess, and he goes up towards 9th, and you got Jesus Zane up there. He puts himself in 13th, and then it's just waiting for Ian to set the final lap time, but he has seemingly backed off of his lap time, not going to go for a competitive run. So himself and Phil are really the only 2 who haven't really shown their pace just yet. But besides that, if you look at the standings, it is currently Dirk on top of the 10.6, first man out. I said it was a pretty competitive lap time, and that certainly showed. Flopman, the man I tipped in the beginning, putting himself up in 2nd place. And then you also got Covers in 3rd, Jacob Konias in 4th, Danielle in 5th, Zorzo in 6th, Matteo in 7th, and Enzo in 8th. And going down the list, everyone is just very close towards each other. And I realized I was watching through the YouTube stream instead of OBS, so that might have been a little bit delayed.
I was wondering why you were a couple seconds behind.
Little bit of a skill issue.
I was wondering what was going on.
Because it was more clear. I mean, it's just you have to get a little bit used to this. And I was checking the stream chat, and then you were quiet, so I was like, oh, I need to continue where you left off. But
sorry, apologies.
I mean, they still got the commentary they deserve.
I think is it Timon? Actually, you're on the YouTube. Is it a little bit choppy? Because it looks okay for my OBS, but I'm just looking at my
it is. Nah, it's really choppy. Right.
Okay, not too sure what we can do there. I think my poor laptop is trying to do too much.
I think I've got it back towards PlayStation. I think I've got back to PlayStation.
What do you mean by that?
Which is not ideal, but we have to deal with it.
Yeah, Timon's did
I'll
one race on PC, and now he's an avid PC goer. It looks okay for me. And no, someone said it's very choppy. Yeah, I think it is the frame rate. I think it's the little laptop that could. If that makes any sense. Please do let me know if it improves. Unfortunately, I can't change it to 180p while we are live. which is rather disappointing. We'd have to boot the whole stream down, and I think it'd be fired if I did that. So we're not going to do that. I'll have a mess about on it. I'll change my encoder preset. See, does that fix stuff? Hopefully it does. And okay, everyone is saying that it's laggy. Thank you. Heard you the first time. We will see if that does improve it. Apologies once again, folks. But Dirk is getting his qualifying underway. He's not getting it underway because he's on pole position, isn't he? He's getting his next lap underway down towards turn number 1. Dirk didn't have his banker time beaten. Is a 1:10.6 enough to last time, or does he need to improve upon this time?
I mean, you definitely need to improve upon the time that he currently has, and he is trying to do so as of right now. But he spins round that Dirk, being absolutely on the limit, but already losing nearly a tenth in that first sector. Going around there is unfortunate for him, but that is only his second run out of the window, and it's definitely not done for him. And it's a 0.6. It's a banker lap time. That is very competitive. I only have some PC times to compare to, and that game is very different. But yeah, around a 0.6 is just a very good competitive lap time. Flopman, though, is the next driver to start off his lap time. See what he can do towards the first sector split. You want to keep it as tight as possible through turn number 3, and then coming up towards the next bit, 12 thousandths of a second slower. Now coming in towards turn number 5, you don't want to lock up the wheel up the inside there. You can go pretty wide, and getting a bad exit here actually you loses quite a bit of time. You want to send as much as possible on the left hand side. Don't want to ride the curb on the exit all that much. He hits it perfectly, and Flopman seemingly on for a pretty decent lap time. We already know what his lap time will be if you see the second sector split, though, which is coming up right now, which it is almost exactly identical to what he had before. 6 thousandths of a second slower than what his previous lap time was. And if he can find only half a tenth in this final sector, he should be having a massive improvement.
Into the pit lane comes Flopman James. I don't have that setting. Oh no, hold on there. I do have that setting. Hopefully that fixes things.
Flopman goes in.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just cover it for now. Flopman, who has
here comes Jacob Conius heading through the pit, and now he's into the pit lane as well. So we're seeing a lot of mistakes here, it seems. Zorzo is on a run, heading down towards the left-hander. Unfortunately, I think it is because the lag. It looks relatively okay on my phone. I'm hoping it's okay on your end, folks, because of course the viewer experience is what we are striving for here. I am hoping it's okay. On your end, it's streaming twice because I'm streaming it to Discord as well. I think that unfortunately is just overcooking the CPU a little bit, but hopefully everything is okay. I've turned down the bitrate, and that should help improve things, and we should hopefully get the show here this evening. 8 minutes to go on qualifying for the Spanish Grand Prix. You're watching PSGL F2. Welcome along to us. We now have a new pole sitter. That's Zorzo who goes quickest. 1:10.630. A decent lap in the end there. However, it's beaten by our star-studded Italian. Italy's new F2 hero goes quickest, and Ian Van Unen slots in second in the Italian car. It seems like now the times are slowly ticking.
The times are definitely coming down and improving more and more as we go. We got Alpine coming towards the line, but he does not find himself improving. Got McLaren coming towards the line as well. I do believe that is Dirk, because Dirk is the only McLaren driver who's currently driving this week, because obviously you are missing 2 drivers. Dirk, though, starting his lap time seemingly you're not improving. Got Haas coming towards the line, which was Daniel ending the lap time, or even starting it. Got most drivers starting or ending the runs right now, so it's a little bit of a mix-up between all of them. We got an Alfa Romeo coming towards the line. Either that's Zane starting his lap time, or this Fede who is or the other way around. It was Fede, so we got Zane coming towards the line now, because he is certainly going for an improvement, and he jumps up just... It's always those Alfa Romeos. They are just close to each other every single race. It's like they're just twin brothers. You get used to it.
Sorry, apologies. I was on mute in the stream,
Yeah,
so you couldn't hear me.
not.
Timon could hear me, but you couldn't. Absolute disaster here this evening, folks. No, but Johan...
It's a little bit of a mess. But yeah, I think I'm gonna switch back towards PlayStation.
Yeah, I think I think that's the problem. To be honest, I think we may have to go back to old Mike Timon because I think that's just cooking the stream.
Yeah. So rip you guys' ears. We have.
Yeah, you don't get both, unfortunately. It's one or the other. You either get nice sounding time and terrible looking stream.
I'll invite you towards a PlayStation party, Evan. Yeah. And I would prefer the stream. Should I invite you to a PlayStation party and do it that way?
We can do that if you want, yeah. We can stick
Because
up an intermission
I think my
screen for a
laptop's
minute
dead.
and get that sorted. My CPU's back down to 15.
We can do it.
So
after,
that was the issue, I think.
We can do it after the lobby's ended, after quality. I'll be back. So chat, don't bully Evan too much. Thank you.
Yeah, don't miss him too much. Yeah, that was the issue. Apologies, folks. It's going to be much better now, and you'll have an actual running broadcast here this evening. I'm back to normal rates, so we will have the lag. It was it was just because I was trying to stream it out to time and at the same time, I believe. Let me know if that's much better. It should be. It should be much better because I'm getting much better readings. So yeah, can only apologise for that. We'll have a more permanent solution for next week, hopefully. But at least we have the issues sorted. That's the main thing. Dirk's back out on another run. So let's see what he can do now as Matteo is quickest in the session, his teammate. And Dirk feels he is the man to beat. He is 1,000 of a second ahead of Flotman. I will get back into the swing of commentary in a second. Once those issues are finished, we're all good. We can run a program. But let's wait and see. This is a very close qualifying session. I know we've not spoken about it much, but this is a very close qualifying session, and hopefully we have an intriguing conclusion to qualifying action here at the Circuit of Barcelona Catalunya. I did end the poll, the qualifying poll, a moment ago to try to stop those issues. It was actually Matteo that won it. Were you all jumping on the bandwagon a bit? I'm not going to call it out, but I think we all know that's what happened. As we do see an improvement from Jacob Konius. Dirk actually retiring from the session. That's in the pit lane. Obviously feels that there's no more improvements for him. And he's either going to save a set of tyres or something along those lines. But great lap that from Jacob Konius, the Australian. Of course, replacing Will Murdoch in that Scuderia Ferrari. He replaced him ahead of the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, which of course Will Murdoch went on to have an absolute stormer in as a reserve representation. But he's not able to commit full time anymore, so Jacob Konius was the man to slot into that role, and he of course did not have the best of times last week in Singapore. Retired from the Singaporean Grand Prix, was 19th on the classification. Qualifying was his strong suit there as well, and he qualified 15th on that occasion. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. G-League Enzo heading into the final sector of the circuit now. He's just done a 49.9 in that middle sector. So we'll wait and see what's happening. Your second in the championship man as well, just thought I should point out, Newth is currently 17th on the grid. Now that's not the be-all and end-all, because he can produce a comeback drive like we saw at the Hungara Ring, but we'll wait and see. Enzo narrowly improves. 7th spot will be it for him, I believe. I don't think he's going to get back round again for one more run, but prove me wrong, Enzo. Let's see what happens. Johan is starting his next run. You can see Timon has joined the lobby, so hopefully he should be with us in a couple of moments, but we will wait and see what happens. It is Johan we're currently looking at. Let's see what he can do. Can he jump up towards the top? Johan, traditionally a driver we associate with succeeding in league racing. He, of course, driving for that Red Bull team alongside Max van der Gies. Finished 11th in the championship last season. Timon has just invited me to a party. I think we'll get that sorted out at the intermission and the break in action. He has his Red Bull teammate right behind him. Wonder will there be a little bit of slipstream tactics there, but no, he's down by 2/10 entering this final sector, and unless there's something magical to come in the final couple of corners here, this is not going to be an improvement from the French native. Heading in towards the final right-hander of turn 14, Catalunya corner. I don't think this is going to be an improvement for him. No, it's not going to be enough. That's disappointing for Johan. However, the top 16 are separated by just over 0.4 of a second. So a marginal improvement will see you jump up quite a bit. Zorzo improving in the first sector, not tracking for pole, but he is tracking quite well indeed. Zorzo in towards the left-hander. This is turn number 5, down towards turn number 6 and 7. Turn 7, the TV3 corner, of course. Enzo has retired from the session, so there'll be no more improvements from him, just like we predicted. Ferociously quick. Turn number 9 for Zorzo. Decent run through there, I should say. The Spaniard, of course, has had a fairly decent season. He's doing well in that Drivers' Championship, of course. You have to remember, currently sits 3rd in it, although he is a lot off second, 23 points to be exact, 32 off the championship lead. He is still having a solid endeavour this season in PSGL F2. We'll be looking for maybe a promotion to F1 with the top boys, but here comes Zorzo. Is it enough to take pole on his home circuit? No. Front row of the grid for the Mercedesman. However, that's a decent effort for him, but it's all down to Ian Van Unen and Matteo. What can they produce in the dying embers of action at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya for qualifying only? We've got a great race coming up for you, of course, ladies and gentlemen. Van Unen in towards turn number 9. We'll get the sector split down in towards the braking of turn number 10, and we'll see, is the Dutchman tracking well in this sector? He is improving, but it's not by enough for pole position. Needs to put pedal to metal, foot to floor, and try and find whatever he can in this final sector. Tracking to beat Zorzo for now, but wants it all, wants that pole position. Running through Catalunya corner comes the Dutchman. Can he produce the magic and take pole position for the Spanish Grand Prix? Across the line, he absolutely can. Ian Van Unen is on provisional pole position. This is the man who could beat him. Was down in the middle sector. The championship leader heads into the pit lane. There won't be an improvement by him. Tallers has invalidated his time. Let's see, can Shazoo Zane do anything in towards the right-hander? Down towards the final straight? No, not much of an improvement for him. Beats his teammate and will beat his teammate. So the qualifying battle looking well for him. Second in the championship, Newth is 17th position here in qualifying. That is absolutely disastrous from the German, who needed probably a point swing today if he wanted to keep a hand in the fire. At least Diogo Silva into the pit lane. There'll be no improvement. But just like we've seen many a time this season, Ian Van Unen is on pole position in PSGL F2. An incredible effort by him. There is your qualifying results, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go get timing sorted. We'll pop up an L intermission screen, and then we will go to the commercial break and head on to the action. While I'm doing that, let me know your predictions in the stream chat.
Cocaine in my nose, there got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, there got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to PSGL. We're here on the grid for the Spanish Grand Prix. Timon is just getting everything sorted on his laptop, and then he will be back with us for the Grand Prix. But I asked for some predictions in the chat. We've had some, actually, for once, a bit of chat retention, as Cameron's dad, I should say, saying Matteo for the win. Lifebout is saying ET8 1-2, guys. ET8 are cooking lately. in esports championships and in various esports programs, so wouldn't be surprised to see them up there early. GG Alpines struggling, so the Alpines with a bit of a problem in the qualifying session. In terms of the constructors' standings, of course, Alpine are third, and it seems like Ghost Kings. Oh, sorry, I should say, it doesn't seem like it is true. Ghost Kings is a new driver there. He is replacing Juventus Racing Nils. I know Juventus Racing aren't a team anymore, but that was the name on his game attack. But we should be getting ready to go here for the Spanish Grand Prix. Don't believe a restart is in store. Hopefully we can get everything underway. Timon, are you with us?
This feels so scuffed. And I know that my mic quality probably is incredibly scuffed again. But we are currently in the lobby waiting.
Well, here we go. We're on the grid. We have 4, 5 red lights here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, and we go racing here for the Spanish Grand Prix. That's a great launch from Mateo, and he's already up and ahead of Ian Van Unen. Down towards the first corner, the Mercedes on the outside is Zorzo, also getting the launch in towards turn number 1. Van Unen actually almost hitting behind of the Aston Martin, but Zorzo, the home Spanish hero, with a brilliant move round the outside to take the race lead here at Catalunya. Van Unen on the outside in towards turn number 4. Mateo looking for it on the inside. Ian Van Unen cannot make the job successful, and there's two Hasses sliding around Flotman and Danielle. Looks like Flotman's down the inside of his teammate, almost hits the championship leader as well. Dirk trying the slingshot round the outside. There's cars everywhere. Covers has to vacate the racing surface as he felt there was a little bit of a collision in store for him if he did not make that evasive action. Zorzo still leads on the opening lap, heading up towards turn number 9.
Yeah, certainly an amazing start from Zorzo. Obviously on that soft set of tyres, he's able to really make use of that big time. It surprises me that there's not a lot happening with other tyres, but Kova's getting a 5-second penalty with Knuv, and Knuv is involved in all kinds of drama, currently going side by side with Diogo Silva, trying to make that still happen. And I know he's got Jacob Conias, but he's going really slow. Does he have damage? I think your second place in the standings has got damage, and he's pulling it towards the pit lane. Knuv, 2 races in a row. It is drama all over again for the German in the Alpine, and nothing he can really do about it. Just absolutely terrible news for him. Contact with covers, meaning that he loses a lot of time. Let's go back towards the front, because we only got one man who has started on the soft set of tires, and with the softs, normally if you're in a group, you can gap them a little bit, but eventually you'll come back down. But you're able to just stay in the DRS at Spain, even if you have a lot worse tires. That's a strategy that drivers are able to settle and follow in here for this race, and it's certainly the strategy I think that they will be planning on following. Fede and Knuv were very quick. It would be interesting for me to see if they have actually successfully changed that wing. But looking back up to the front, it is just Zorzo leading in front of Ian, Amateo, Flotman, Daniel, Enzo, Dirk, Thales, Zane, and Diogo Silva. Rounding out the top 10. Watch out for Zane and Diogo Silva. They will be making some big gaps and changes.
Yes, an alternate strategy for Zorzo and for Zane and Diogo Silva. Soft, hard, potentially there, and then starting on the hard, of course, leaves the option for both mediums and softs, depending on how this race plays out. Zorzo, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Crucially, Van Unen still only 0.4 of a second behind, which indicates to me that the tyre differential is not, it's not that big between the two, but that could come and prove me wrong very, very quickly. As Ian Van Unen, of course, is a very, very quick driver. It was Mateo who actually got a very shady launch, I should say. He was not great off of the front row of the grid. Could be something to do with the hard tyres and no formation lap. You don't get a chance to properly get a feel for them. And Zorzo, of course, on those softs was always going to get the best launch of the tree, but he had to work for it around the outside on the opening lap. Lap 3 of 33 here, of course, at the Spanish Grand Prix. If you're just joining us, welcome along to PSGL F2. We've got an absolute cracker building up here. The bottom 3 back into the pits again. Fede for the mediums. Newth, I don't think has pulled into his pit box yet, so we will wait and see what he goes on in a moment. And Covers is on the hard compounded tyres again. That makes me indicate that these 3 want to try go to the end. Well, maybe not Fede. Newt, actually, I believe, is on a fresh set of soft tyres. He is. That's a very peculiar one for Newt. Maybe didn't go on a clean set, or maybe didn't have his wing changed. If so, disastrous for the man who was looking like this could be his season. He's not won a PSGL race for 4 seasons, of course. not won a championship in that time either. We thought this could be the outlier and this could be the one for him to take. But with Matteo performing well and with Newt down the order now, maybe due to misfortune, of course, we didn't quite catch what happened to him. This could be Matteo's for the taking.
Yeah, it certainly could be, but it's interesting to me that they all three forgot to change the wing. Fede, Knuf, and Covers. Just shows how chaotic that opening phase really was. And again, unfortunate for Knuf. Went for the aggressive strategy for going on towards those soft set of tires. Knuf was made a bit up from softs to softs to softs. So he's back on the tire that he started on. But let's focus our attention back again towards the front, because it is currently lap 4. It's also not gapping anyone from the leading pack. And Livebout was saying Zorzo is done for. Well, I certainly disagree with that. I think on the soft tires, you do have the pace to just really keep in there. And if you play your ERS games well enough, you should be just fine. Which I do know is that the exact conversation that happened in the party between Bas Bremer and Armateo, Bas being the engineer of Armateo, whenever Knuf went into its pit lane, or if he figured out that he had damaged a little before that, I think it immediately went on conserve. Conserve this, your third. It is very good points for the championship. If you can get any more, we will of course go for it. But Knut will not be scoring any points during this race unless we get a safety car and anything else crazy happens. So that's just really a scenario that Armateo is really benefiting of, obviously, right now. Having that 9 points gap in the title already does a massive phase. This, it gives him a massive lead. With only 3 races to go after this, the question will be, can Knuf still get that win and the title back?
And very interesting you mention engineers, because it's not something we typically talk about in league racing, but any of the top folk will have an assistant in their PlayStation party or in their Discord call, or an assistant or an engineer. And when it comes to Bas Bremer and Matteo, that's our Bono and Hamilton equivalent. Creme de la creme. Very, very good in terms of strategy, in terms of reacting to strategy, and in terms of, I suppose, being the aggressor on a strategy front. So I'm very intrigued to see how Matteo and Baz will tackle the aggressive strategy from Zorzo. Vannoonen is going to tackle that by simply overtaking him. Ian Vannoonen now leads the Spanish Grand Prix ahead of the Spaniard of Zorzo. Zorzo would love to win his home Grand Prix here today, I feel. Who wouldn't love to win their home Grand Prix? And a very interesting comment here in the stream chat that's just caught my eye. Someone saying could be rain coming later. It is quite dull over this circuit of Barcelona Catalunya. I wonder, is there an L downpour on our horizons?
I doubt it. Otherwise, people in the Discord would have certainly mentioned it, or there was an engineer who would have put it in the chat. But indeed, engineers are a crucial part of this race. They will tell you all the information that you need, penalties in front or behind you. But they will also work with telemetry, and the telemetry will exactly tell you when it will be raining, and exactly on the decimal how much ERS a driver in front or behind you has, because that's all information that you can find depending on if you have your telemetry options open or restricted. And if you want to use telemetry yourself, you will need to open it, but you will open it for other drivers as well. And on this level, you'll see a lot of members using this. Currently, also need to burn a little bit of ERS to stick with the DRS train of Ian Vannoonen, but Armateo is going to go for it. He tried at least to go for it, but burning on a little bit of ERS, just making sure that Zorzo uses that ERS nicely. But there, he only used 20% to defend. He can do that like 3 more times, all the way up towards lap number 10 to defend himself. All he needs to do is make sure that he stays within 1 second range of Ian Vannoonen. That's all Zorzo needs to do, who hasn't stayed within 10 seconds, or 10 seconds, with 1 second. 10 seconds would be a lot. But Enzo and Dirk, gap of 1 second exactly between those drivers. So it's interesting to see what will happen between those. And Zane and Diogo Silva, disappointing. Both on soft tires, unable to really make a big influence on that race at the early stages. They are both just jetting right now on the soft tires, trying to maintain connection with the leading group. And you've got drivers behind like Johan, Jacob Konias, Dark, Phil, Max, or Max not really because he's fallen off the train again. But these 4 drivers on hards all want these soft tires to stay connected for as long as possible. And they can maybe do an undercut and work out something there. But Diogo Silva is just sliding so much. Johan is all over the back of him. And unless anything majorly happens at the front, I can guarantee an overtake. It will be Johan on Diogo Silva.
Well, let's see. I've done a little bit of investigative journalism and I'm looking at some driver streams to see if we can get a weather report, but we will wait and see. Here comes Johan. This was the banker. This was the one that doesn't fail, and timing is absolutely correct. Johan gets ahead of Diogo Silva in towards turn number 1. Seems like the softs have hit a little bit of a cliff here, but I'm not going to be the judge of that. We'll see lap times be the judge of that, and you can see Matteo right on the back of Zorzo. I'm still just having a little snoop to see is there going to be a weather report from any of our drivers. I'm actually looking at Enzo's if you are truly interested. Diogo Silva is also live streaming. However, none of them are streaming in English, so I can't ask them. But of course, Enzo is streaming in French, and Diogo Silva, I believe, is streaming in Spanish. Diogo,
alright? Diogo Silva's Brazilian.
yeah, it says. Oh no, apologies. Sorry, that's Johan who's streaming in Spanish. Yeah, apologies. Diogo Silva is Portuguese, and I've made that mistake more than once this season. And Fede actually getting past Youth down the back of the grid. 45 seconds between Fede and Max. Surely a safety car is the only saviour here for these guys.
Certainly, and I don't know what happened to Max, but it's again disappointing for him to see. He was having a brilliant race over in Singapore when he collided, unfortunately, with his teammate and someone else. I do not remember who it was. I do believe it was Ian, actually. But there was a three-way crash that way, resulting in him not getting any major points. Johan now finally having overtaken both of those soft drives who have been relatively slow, is now needing to close that gap of 1.7 seconds. So it's not having a lot of battery, so it's going to be interesting to see if he's able to do so. Jacob Coney has been wanting to make those moves happen as soon as possible. Zane already flashing, and Diogo Silva just on the soft tires, unable to really do anything. I even think that Diogo Silva is held up by Zane, but they needed to just work together. Unfortunately for them, that did not end up how they would have wanted it to happen. Meanwhile, back up towards the front, it is indeed Zorzo, who's able to still manage his battery fairly nicely. Like I've been saying, it's not really that much of a difference, and those hard tires have hit that first cliff as well, so they're not as quick as they used to. But those soft tires, around lap 10, they will be hitting a second cliff and drop off. So it will be interesting to see if he's able to keep up the pace that way. But we've seen it in other things. I can of course compare it towards the PC side of things, where I'm now mainly active. But there it was really interesting because you had way more drivers on the softs compared to the hards, and you just had the hard drivers really just cutting through the way of softs in the first stint, and then the second stint being ready because of the medium tires. Very interesting. I have a little bit more solo battle, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens on that front. But generally, those hard tires can be doing a few more laps, and Zorzo is able to do so on the mediums. Zorzo be wanting to make that undercut, try and gap, and then just hook on to one of the fresher tires that will be eventually overtaking him, and then just try to stay with them, get carried as much to the front as possible, and to just try and keep the best position that he wants. So also currently not really in a position to win, although you're in second place. Is going to be very interesting, but the pit stop phases are almost coming up as well, so from now on he just needs to survive and stick in that train.
Is it going to be a set of mediums that Zorzo will go on to, or a set of hards?
Yes, I do believe it's mediums.
Okay.
Soft medium is the strategy to go for. You can do soft hards as well, but mediums are generally considered the better racing tire.
I know I was always a fan of the mediums, but I'm also not racing an F2, so we'll wait to see what happens. Lap 11 we are going on to here in this Spanish Grand Prix. Bit of a stalemate for the time being, but that's a kind of familiar issue. Actually, I say that, Flotman looks like he's going to go for a move maybe on the Aston Martin towards turn number 1. Oh, they're all bunching together. Flotman actually nicks the back of Matteo, but no sustained damage there. I know sometimes the front wings crumble like they're made of a cream cracker, but we'll wait and see. Zorzo very wide through the right-hander at turn number 3. He's lost a handful of places. Now Matteo has to defend to the inside. Zorzo forced onto the marbles on the outside. Got to be careful not to lose the car here. Ian Van Unen actually went really wide as well. Flotman now on the outside of the championship leader Matteo. Zorzo still keeps his Mercedes on the inside, looking to capitalise on the mistakes in front of him. Not going to happen, however. Matteo second. Flotman now up to third, invites himself onto the podium. Zorzo falls to fourth. And I think Zorzo just needs to calm it down here, just make sure he stays with this train, because none of these guys want to lose touch with the race leader, Ian Van Unen. That'd be disastrous for the strategy at this point. And also, another crucial thing, covers is actually coming up to being lapped almost, so that's another crucial element that we don't usually take into account in PSGL, but we'll have to wait and see. It seems like this is going to be another battle down in towards turn number 1. A long-lasting one, but we will wait and see. The batteries are not really being burned by our drivers.
Flopman.
Now they are. Flopman engages the extra assistance down towards turn number 1, going for the inside line here on Matteo, and you can see he has taken second place. Matteo just falls into line ahead of Zorzo. Doesn't want to lose anything too much, but we will wait and see. Now tucked into the slipstream, round through the uphill right-hander. Can he go for a move? Maybe in towards turn number 4, the Repsol corner. Danielle gets past Zorzo as well. It seems like the soft tires have now finally hit their cliff, and they're falling. They're falling quickly and rapidly, but Zorzo fights on round the outside of the Haas Formula 1 machine. Enzo on the inside. Not going to work out on that occasion. Is it for him? He's going to sit behind for now, and the AlphaTauri will fall into 6th. Enzo running a very strong race at this point, but it's his teammate who's doing all the dog work at the front, trying to break this DRS gap.
Yeah, Zorzo trying to go around the outside now after the second DRS trade on those hard tires, really trying to capitalize off of those softs worsening and worsening. It was really fortunate for Zorzo to be in this position right now. The slightest of mistakes coming through towards turn number 3 caused him to lose 1 position to Amateo. Flopman immediately being smart and capitalizing on that as well. And it was crucial. The move Flopman made towards Amateo, going for it right there, gives him much clean air for engine temperatures, and it does also give him the opportunity to take the lead 1 lap before the pit stop starts. And that means that he will enter the pit lane phase is ideally as 1st or 2nd instead of 3rd, and you will just save yourself nearly a second compared to save and cover yourself for an undercut. So that move was really ideal, and Flopman just using a little bit of ERS because Amateo just not using the ERS there. If I was Amateo, I would have defended there slightly. Of course, Amateo wants to hold on to a good position and score many points, but he knows deep down that he wants to win as well. I think a little bit of ERS would have been the result of Amateo still remaining in 2nd and fighting for 1st place when the pit stop phase to arrive. It is Ian going very wide, Flopman nearly being able to overtake around the outside. A terrible exit from Ian, really wide, and nothing really happening from that. We do have collisions behind. It is Dark who's gone fully round there after the quick right-hander, gone in towards a spin. Unable to see if he does have a wing damage or not. Just waiting for the camera position to change. That should
if it ever does.
No.
I think we can tell he
does.
does.
I can see, he misses his left end plate. So damage for Dark, and I do believe that is another person we can vote out of contention for this race win. Flopman again staying behind Ian Van and still not wanting to make that pit stop. And also, like we've been seeing, you are able to just follow that leading train on hard. It is not that difficult. Oh, it's a safety car.
Oh, he's crashed in the pits.
He's crashed in the pit lane entry. He's got. That is just purely just filled with anger, wanting too much, being upset with yourself for making that mistake, and then just making a silly mistake like that, crashing in towards the pit lane. I would assume it wasn't on purpose because you've got the bump there, and you're just you can be annoyed. You've got that little bit of the wall on the left-hand side which sticks out, which can just pop off your tires. Crucially enough, what will this mean? You will mean that everyone is going on a fresh set of medium tires, including Knuf, who's back in the championship fight. Fede and Knuf are staying out. I've lost it. Just ignore what I've just said, because apparently Knuf and Fede are... Oh, I do understand. They don't want to get lapped. But if I can put my predictions out there, everyone's going to the medium.
Yeah, I think so. That is Dark out of the Grand Prix. Disappointing season for Dark, to be honest. He's 16th in the championship. This is not going to help him. Was 6th last season overall. And he's now crashed into the pit lane. But I'm going to excuse him here. Genuinely don't think I've commentated a Spanish Grand Prix race in the last 2 years that someone hasn't crashed in the pit lane. So, I'll give him his fair dues.
Enzo! He's made a move in the pit lane entry. Enzo going up for the move against Danielle and just nailing that pit lane entry, making that move happen. That is incredible. Oh my gosh.
Bit of class there from Enzo, and he's going to get the move over Danielle, even with the double stack, because Haas are double stacking as well. Oh no, he doesn't. They've swapped around. Danielle's out ahead of Enzo. Oh, that's disappointing. It was a perfect pit lane entry for TF10 Enzo, but he has lost it because of the pit lane. Whatever way it works, who knows really with Codemasters at this point. He has lost it due to the double stack. And bit of a swap round in the pit lane actually. Ian Van Unen is your race leader, and it's Flotman, Matteo, Danielle. Tales, what a gainer in this race. He's up 5 spots from 10th. Well done to him. Then it's Enzo, then Johan in 7th. He is up 7 spots from 14th. We saw a disappointing end to qualifying. And Sturk in 8th, Zorzo down to 9th. Very unfortunate for him. I think that was just a case of because he's in an early pit box. I think it could have been the same with some of the Red Bulls. Then it's Zane in 10th, and it's Jacob Konius in 11th. This is a good performance, actually. So far from the Aussie, he's having a good time. Because, of course, he is 24th in the driver's standings with 2 points. The last time he scored points was the second round of the season in Qatar. Then it's Phil in 12th. He's up 6 spots. He said he's done 5 laps of practice for this race in Grand Prix mode. So, honestly, Phil, you're not doing a bad job considering we've done 15. Diogo Silva then in 13th, ahead of Max van der Geest in 14th. And now, second place in the championship, Newt will have the opportunity to try and gain some places and try gain some points, because points equal prizes, and he'll get no prizes come the end of the season if he doesn't gain some points. And pretty much immediately he needs them. He needs points here today.
He'll get the most consistent reward. I'm sure of that.
That doesn't equal a championship, though, and he wants a championship.
Yeah, but you're talking about prizes. I mean, that's certainly a prize that you want to be proud of, unless there's someone who's had more consistent DNFs. Coming in towards the pit lane now is Knuf, sticking out 1 lap more to go for a fresher set of mediums. Certainly a smart thing to do. You have 1 lap advantage, so a little bit easier to make those moves happen. I do believe he will emerge in front or just behind Fede, because he was behind them at first as well. Unless
surely Fede comes in. Oh no, he doesn't. He stays out.
No, he should be staying out. Just interesting. Fede maybe having a little bit of an advantage towards the later end of the race. With Fede making that move past Knuf there, being in 15th, Knuf in 16th. But yeah, 1 more lap or safety car, or at least safety car, until Covers emerges behind the back of everyone. And not everything's changed, but a lot has changed. Danielle, being able to be very lucky, has in 4th and 2nd. So although the doubles, like, he didn't lose all that much. And Enzo, I mean, Overtake of the Year award going to him already. But yeah, many things can and will happen. And this is why I said that the overtake beforehand was crucial. Mateo now having the same tire life, and he sees that Haas in front of him. And he should know, I could have been in front of that. I could have been able to take that lead and wait for the whole race. Just steal this whole race in first. Get overtaken on the final lap. Get guaranteed second. Now he is in third and needing to fight his way up to get those good points. And he knows there is a wild German behind him somewhere trying to get as many positions and spots back as soon as possible. Covers unable to recover back towards the safety car on this lap. So that means next time round we will be going racing.
Well, I'd say that's the first time Youth is called wild. I think he's a rather composed fella, to be brutally honest. No, but
you haven't played FIFA with him or been in a party with him.
I haven't played FIFA with him, no.
Or when he does any German leagues. Yeah, and his sleep rhythm.
Let's not mention German league racing around Spain. But in terms of,
I don't understand that connection. You have to explain that to me after the race, then I guess.
Just Twitter drama again. In terms of this race, Covers is into the pit lane. What I was going to say is, in terms of this race, it could really swap around here, because everyone's going to the end, everyone's on the same tires. It's like we're starting the race once again. They're all going to have full batteries. And if you're down the order, you're going to try cut through as quickly as possible. And what I agree in calling Newt mad here is, he needs to be mad. He needs to be mental, and he needs to try overtake cars quickly here. Because finishing 16th is not going to win you a championship. Finishing 15th might, because Matteo finished 15th in the opening round of the season. But finishing 16th won't win you a championship. And Newt has scored points in every round up until the last one. He doesn't need another non-point scoring race. Because the thing about PSGL's point system is, it's very rewarding if you are consistent. However, it is very disrewarding if you finish outside the points once or twice. You've got to keep racking up those points, because the gaps are not that big. So, say Matteo wins the race, that's 16 points. If Newt finishes in second, that's 12. That's only a 4-point deficit. That's a lot less than, say, Formula 1, for example. But safety car in this lap, let's see how things go. Avatar saying in the comments that he's also agreeing that Enzo's overtake was brilliant. saying karma almost for Danielle, deliberately holding the driver behind in the pit lane. So almost a little bit of karma for Danielle. Wonder is he a Taylor Swift fan? But we will wait and see, as Ian Van Unen has led this race pretty much from start to finish. Obviously Zorzo led it for a bit, but Ian has pretty much been the dominating driver in this one. Let's wait and see what the Dutchman can do. However, we thought this was a dead set championship for Ian Van Unen come the start of the season. However, he's trying to work his way back into play. 6th in the title now as we go racing once again here at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya in Montemelo. Danielle gets a great launch actually on the back of the Aston Martin, and they all run line astern down towards the first corner. Here comes Flotman, tries it down the inside in towards the 1 and 2 chicane. Didn't work out on this occasion, and he's going to have to sit behind and hope for a little bit of a slingshot off the right-hander and make a move down towards the Repsol corner of turn number 4. Move not going to be on the cards here. Move maybe on the cards for Enzo. Dives it down the inside. He's been a very good overtaker so far today. That's another well-executed move on the Williams. Bit of a block pass there, actually, on Tales, and he got the job done. Of course, Catalunya, a track famous for block passes. Valentino Rossi pulling a classic on Jorge Lorenzo. Not a block pass here from a Spaniard, however. It's the opposite way around this time. It's a Spaniard getting past the Frenchie. It's Zorzo getting past Johan.
Certainly is, and it is just a clean and good start for everyone, and everyone needs to get back in towards a rhythm because this race is still very long. I don't know if you've noticed, but Kovas has gone on towards a set of softs, and Zayn has
wide.
very wide, losing out a bunch of positions right there. So that's already 1 position gained from Knut, but Kovas is on the softs, which 16 laps on the softs is about as long as we can do on those tires. But it's not going to be ideal because you're going to be losing a lot of time very soon. He's able to make those easy overtakes like he's doing right now on Fede, who's on 5-lap old hards. Don't really understand that strategy. But we just have to look past that and focus back on towards the front. It is still 14 more laps to go, and Zayn actually having wing damage as well, so I don't know what happened there at all. Ian Van Unen, 14 more laps to defend from that Haas behind him to try to go for that race win. Obviously, Ian Van Unen has been in this position this time multiple times, and he's never really been able to really capitalize on it. I know in Suzuka that he really dominated and did well, and he's going to be hoping for the same situation for Armateo and Flopman to fight that hard, so he's just able to run away and take home a good position. We'll see what happens, really. That's the beauty of this. Everyone on the same tires, and the only thing that will really be a difference are 2 things. 1, ERS management, and 2, it is how much risks you are willing to take.
Yeah, of course, Ian won that race in Suzuka, like you said, but despite having other good performances, he's not actually stood on the podium since the first round of the season. Now, I know Qatar was a bit of a problem for him because he did have a wheel issue while leading, but look, these factors happen in racing. You got to capitalise when you can, and today is the day where Ian has excellent pace. He's got to make the most of it. 1:13.5 is the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, of course. Wouldn't be a Grand Chelem if he did take the win in the fastest lap, because, of course, Zorzo did lead the opening lap and the opening couple of laps in this Grand Prix. We're on board with Tales, who's worked his way up to 6th position here. The Brazilian doing a very good job, of course. We thought Tales would be able to maybe challenge for the title this season after having some great performances last season in Austria and in Silverstone, but he's not really been up there an awful lot this season, so needs to capitalise on races like this. They're all sort of in a DRS train once again. Hyman, is this just these guys conserving towards the end of the race, or is this just how this track is?
No, certainly it is a bit of both, but you cannot go all out now, burn a lot of ERS, because then drivers will start to put pressure on you, get you below those 10% where you are flashing, and then everyone knows that you are just a target. Pretty much like, I don't know how to describe this, but just imagine that you have a bunch of people hunting you down and you're just hiding in a corner, and all of a sudden your phone goes off. You're pretty much a bit like that. Everyone just knows that you have a target on your back and wants to attack and capitalize upon it. But the only thing happening right now, it is just drivers cooling their engines because engine temperatures get quite higher. Besides that, it is just waiting, playing that ERS game very nicely and not doing anything stupid. As you can see from the leaders, you got Ian on 70, Flopman pretty much 70 as well, Armateo 80, 80, 75, 75, 50, 50. So the more you go down, the less ERS there is, because it is drivers who are struggling maybe a little bit to keep up with the pace. But the more you go towards the front, the more ERS they have. It is a waiting game to try and really make gain of any mistakes that happen, because as soon as you see one mistake, drivers will immediately jump upon it. But you don't want to burn too much ERS, because like I said, that way then you are trapped in a corner and cannot do anything.
Yeah, we saw that with Zorzo. Went on the marbles once or twice, and then all of a sudden there was 4 or 5 cars past him. So it goes to show, or it goes to prove the time in theory correct. 0.6 of a second is the gap between Ian Van Unen and the Flotman at the top. That can be caught pretty easily, or with one little niggle for the AlphaTauri, and Flotman can easily get the job done. Lap 21 of 33 though, so we still have loads of laps to go in this one to decide the race. You can see them all weaving like a snake down the main straight. That's a mix of temperature cooling, mix of pulling out a slipstream, and a mix of not really wanting to make an overtake. And it's sort of a stalemate when drivers don't really want to make overtakes, but we will have to wait and see. An update on second in the championship, Newt. He's currently in 14th, managing the battery well. However, it does seem like there's a bit of a pace deficit on board Newt. He was talking to me today and was saying he had 2 setup choices, and actually there's a bit of contact between himself and Covers. Covers went for a dive that wasn't really on, I think, into that corner, and he's now down and spun round 3.9 seconds adrift. But look, I don't think that strategy was ever going to work. The over-aggressive soft strategy when everyone else is on mediums, I don't think it was a formula to win.
No, the only way it would have worked if there was another safety car, but then you would have had the whole grid bidding again for another set of softs. Which, if there comes a safety car right now, every single driver is in for a set of softs, because it is fairly easy to overtake around this track, but it is very difficult to overtake when everyone has a full battery and is just in the DRS within each other. You cannot do anything right now. Just the question is, who's the first person to bite? It is Armateo. Armateo on the ERS, trying to go for it, really burning it down, forcing Flotman to go for a move on the lead there. So side by side, that will break later. It is Ian Van Unen trying to go around the outside still. He makes that happen though, forcing Flopman to use a little bit. Same goes for Ian. So with this move, Armateo forcing the 2 drivers in front of him to 1, cause some chaos, and 2, burn a little bit off the battery. But at the end of the day, Armateo is the driver who really used the most, but he also had the most battery to work with from the beginning. It is Enzo going around the outside of Danielle, trying to go and make for a move right there. It would be very interesting to see if he does manage to do so around the outside of turn 5. Did not work out, and then in 6 and 7, just needing to back off a little and play it safer again. Enzo, again, trying to go for a fancy move, but it did not happen. A little bit of a mistake there from Armateo, spotted by Danielle. Danielle immediately on the overtake, but he's unable to really go up the inside here unless he makes a big dive bomb. He does go for a big dive bomb, but it's not Danielle. It is Enzo trying to go around the outside though. But once more, it does not work. Which does work is the move from Zorzo on Talos. A little bit of contact there. And again, a mistake there from Danielle. Enzo going up the inside, making that move happen. Enzo up to gains a position. Zorzo doesn't. Zorzo still in 7th, but Enzo from P5 up towards P4. Now needing to get back in towards a rhythm to survive and not do anything stupid. From the lead is Ian Van Unen, currently on the least amount of battery. Of course, as the leader, you're unable to really gain back the ERS all that easily. The drivers again just chilling behind. And Armateo, he's tried it before. When will he be trying again to get himself up in that 2nd position, which he lost in such an easy way earlier on in the race?
This is how you make yourself known on your debut. What a debut performance from Enzo. He is pulling out all the stops. Or sorry, I should say a debut performance for AlphaTauri. He's been here and bought the t-shirt before. 1 reserve appearance this season. That was at the Lusail International Circuit in Qatar, I believe. But this is his debut performance for the AlphaTauri team as a main representative in PSGL F2, and he'll be here for a long time if he can pull off moves like that on a consistent basis. But it goes to show what happens when one driver tries to break the DRS train. It forces everybody else to also try break that DRS train, and it is a domino effect down the main straight. But we'll wait and see. Did Matteo launch his attack too early, or is he timing this just about right? We'll wait and see. Down the main straight, not burning his battery. Flotman pulls out a slipstream once again. Doesn't want to overtake Ian Van Unen. He simply wants to hold his position from here until the end and the conclusion of the Grand Prix. You can see him just lifting off before he hits the back. Danielle is right behind Enzo as well. And honestly, Enzo on the back of this train, I don't think he's going to sit around like the others are. I think Enzo is going for action, action, action. And the Frenchman wants to make some moves and maybe, be the AlphaTauri that's leading this race in a few laps' time. We'll have to wait and see. Lap 25 of 33. A reminder, PSGL F1, of course, after our action concludes here this evening. Make sure you go check out that. And, of course, the PC tiers, which are back on Thursday around the Miami Autodrome, just near the Hard Rock Stadium. So you're going to want to tune into that time. And what tier are you on? Where should everyone find you?
Huh? Wait, I zoned out. What did you say?
Doesn't matter. I was asking what PC tier you're on. I was giving you a bit of self-promo.
I'm not on a PSGL PC tier.
Oh, Danielle! Wide, heading through turn number 12. He's completely lost it. Nicks the wall, and now he's come back on track. Straight into the path of Dirk. Bit of a dangerous rejoin. Jacob Conius involved in the carnage as well. And the safety car is immediately out. Oh, the top 7 have passed the pit lane. Danielle has actually... He's masterclassed it. He's the one who's caused all the carnage and is second into the pit lane. Zorzo first in for a set of softs. The course of this race has completely changed.
And that is exactly what I said. If there is a safety car, every single driver will be heading in towards the pit lane for a set of softs, but they cannot do so right now. 7 drivers who have been forced to stay out. Ian Van Unen, Flopman, Amateo, Enzo, Thales, Johan, and unfortunately enough, Knuf just barely missing that pit lane entry. He himself in P number 7. Just imagine he found that pit lane entry and you would have had Knuf leading the soft train, trying to chase down his championship hopes. But now it's gonna be nearly impossible for any drivers to really, for the medium drivers to really hang on. It will be 5 laps of defending as hard as possible to try and get as many points as they can. It is... Yeah, all these drivers, the 4 drivers or the 3 drivers, which have been by far the best this race, Ian Van Unen, Flopman and Amateo, instead of fighting this out with each other, they have put their eyes all behind them. It is gonna be interesting to see really what happens after that this safety car comes out. And the leading drivers of the soft train, Zorzo, Danielle and Max. I don't know if you remember, but Max, very early on in this race, 2.5 seconds behind the train, was just driving on his own, unable to do anything. And then he gets 2 safety cars, which are perfect for him. Firstly, being able to get back in the train, then just fighting a few places forwards, and now being the 3rd driver in the soft train, wanting to make as many moves up the field as soon as possible. He only hopes that Danielle and Zorzo are aggressive enough to go for a move. The Knuf is in. He is not risking it, which is bad news for the other medium runners. He's going for a fresher set of softs. It just shows that Knuf would have been able to just get done already. On those medium tires, you cannot do a lot. He would have been eaten alive. So now, instead of being the prey, he becomes one of the hunters to really try and go for it. We have Zane in towards the pit lane as well, trying to go for 1 lap fresher softs. And besides that, not really a lot will be happening. I think the safety car, is it going to be in this lap? I think we do 1 more. And then we got 5 laps of racing.
Look, we said earlier that Bas Bremer and Matteo are usually the aggressors on strategy. However, the Neverlast Racing boys and Newt are the ones who are calling the shots here today. This is make or break for the championship, really, this strategy. Newt has gone from a healthy 7th position and points to 15th. Behind a whole bunch of soft tyre runners. However, the thing here is those soft tyre runners are going to be making overtakes on those medium tyre runners. What Newt really needs here is for Zorzo, Danielle, Max, Phil, those lot, to start causing chaos with Matteo, Enzo, Thales, send them back down the grid, send them packing, and Newt can slowly work his way up the positions with carnage around him. What Newt needs now, I know he said he needs to go mental earlier, but I think what he needs now is to keep his head. Good phrase, I always lived by was, while all others are losing their heads, make sure you don't lose yours. And Newt needs to do that. However, he's going to have to, he's not going to have much time, I should say, to plan his approach because the safety car is coming in the end of this lap. This has been a very eventful Spanish Grand Prix. Sometimes races at Spain can be lackluster, they can be dull, they can be overcast, like they are today. But, no, this has been an eventful one on the racing surface. Look at Flopman. Just trying to put the pressure on Ian Van Unen here. These soft tyres are going to be the better tyre until the end of this race, pretty much. This is about the right point for the softs before they start falling off, so they should be okay from now to the conclusion Vanunen's got to time his safety car restart right here. Flotman almost hits the back of him, but Flotman's got to be careful not to lose out to Mateo. And now we go racing here at the Spanish Grand Prix at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. It's a good restart from Ian Vanunen. It's a good restart from Flotman as well. They're tucked into the slipstream. This car is going left, right and centre, down in towards turn number 1. Flotman tries it, Mateo tries it, Enzo tries it, Zorzo tries it, already cuts off a man on his strike list. Zorzo is up to 6th here on the lead soft tyres. The Spaniard doing all the aggressing here in towards turn number 4, the Repsol corner. It's the Mercedes on the inside. Gets the job done on Tales. Zorzo is going for this one and might just win this Grand Prix. To the outside now, heading through turn number 5. He's got another one. This is incredible from the home hero at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. He's now got Mateo in front of him, the championship leader. Surely this is a dive into turn 10 for Zorzo. The soft tyres have been absolutely lit up by this Mercedes machine. Wants the inside line in towards turn number 10. Late braking. He's got another one. Anyone who he sees simply moves out of the way. The seas are parting for the Spanish hero. Ian Vanunen loses the race lead to Flotman. A very clever and crafty pass from Flotman once again. We've seen it once, we've seen it twice. We might see it again because he's going to have to get his elbows out here to the flyer on this safety car restart. Van der Geest past Danielle in the background. But here comes Zorzo into the slipstream. He's not hanging about, wants this immediately, using these soft tyres to the best of his advantage. To the outside of Ian Vanunen goes FIO Zorzo. Tries to hang it round the outside. He's just got so much more grip. There's nothing Vanunen can do. Zorzo is on a charge. Zorzo could win his home Grand Prix. Johan, or Enzo I should say, losing spaces. It's carnage in the middle of the pack.
Enzo being eaten alive, unable to do anything. There's no more grip on those medium tyres, and there's so much grip in those soft sets of tyres. All the soft drivers need to watch out that they do not collide with each other. Dallas now, he is the next person to be getting eaten alive. Max passes him, Danielle passes him, and now he's got Phil behind him wanting to make a move as soon as possible. Let's peek back towards the lead because Zorzo about to go and make that move for P1. Flopman can defend the inside all he wants, but he's just later breaking from Zorzo, having so much more grip and then easily able to go around the outside and make that move happen. I said it before it actually happened, but you're able to read that as a book, know exactly what happens. And Zorzo up in the lead. He has 3 more medium runners. It's a big mistake from Flopman going nearly round. Flopman saves the guy in Vanunen trying to go up the inside, side by side to the final corner. Flopman still remaining in second place with Ian Vanunen. Now on the ERS trying to make that move happen. Trying to go for P2, squeeze towards the inside there. Now side by side between the 2 medium runners. Do you want to fight at this stage? Because it is really medium versus soft, but they're fully going for it. Flopman and Ian, so much respect between each other. It is a perfect battle in the first 3 corners. Still making that move happen. Ian Vanunen makes that move settle. Now it is Amateo trying to go. It is 3 whites coming in towards 3 and 4, and there's contact there. Still side by side. Everyone being alive. Flopman keeping that position up in towards second. Still Ian Vanunen there. It is 3 white behind them because Danielle and Max are trying to profit as well. And the big loser from all of that is Amateo. Was in 4th, now in 6th, and wanting, having so many soft drivers right behind him. Knut still surviving, being P11, but wanting to make sure that he overtakes all 3 of these medium drivers still. It is now again Ian Vanunen trying to go around the outside of Flopman, wanting to make a move happen. Nothing happens there, or does it? Or does it? It is a better exit from Ian Vanunen going up towards the inside now in the second to last corner. Flopman breaking later, still side by side. They're just defending, making sure no one can get past them. This is just an interesting strategy, but if you work together like that, maybe you're able to fend off as many positions as you can. Now going towards the right hand side, Flopman trying to defend Ian Vanunen, burning the DRS a little bit, just going side by side. Make yourself as wide as possible. Don't let anyone overtake. Max Van der Geest now going around the outside, make that move happen. It's a little bit of contact there. Ian Vanunen and Flopman go off together. They fought together to try and make that. It's not Flopman, excuse me. It is Ian Vanunen who goes round and nothing happens for him. Wow.
And there was an Alpine smashed into the wall there, and a load of German hearts just sank. However, it was Phil. It's unfortunate to see Phil out of action, of course. His 5 laps of practice boded him well. However, what a strategy call this has been by Knut, because he's now 3 spaces behind the man he needs to beat, and Dirk is not doing his teammate any favours. Wants to get past the Italian in towards turn number 9 then. That was like NASCAR down the main straight. It was just cars everywhere, weaving, going for spots. Fede now to the outside of Dirk in towards the left-hander. These 2 are on the same tyres, so it goes to show it's just all-round chaos. Zorzo has a 5.4 second lead Where's that come from? We haven't seen anything of the likes this evening, I should say. But we're going to see it now, and we're going to see some more crazy battling down towards the first corner. Diogo Silva going for the podium. What a result it would be for Diogo Silva. Of course, he was... did he win the Austrian Grand Prix? He did win the Austrian Grand Prix, of course. Beat Covers to the race win. Here he goes for the outside in towards turn 1. He's used all his battery. There's just simply none in existence for him in towards the first corner. Phil picks up a 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. Diogo trying it round the outside now. Going to swap to the inside. They switch back maneuver. The up and under. Not quite working for him. And Flotman actually just lets him through in the end. That's a really peculiar one, but it seems like Flotman has other targets that he wants to go for. Newt maybe might have picked up a bit of damage. He seems to... Oh, Newt did pick up damage. Newt is missing an end plate here. So he's really struggling in this Grand Prix. Matteo loses the spot to Dirk, but crucially Dirk does have a 5-second time penalty.
Yeah, I'm sure Dirk's able to remove that because it was an instant penalty. But do you remember, Evan, what I said at the start of this broadcast? Which you were like, that would be very hard to happen.
Oh, Flotman hit behind.
It would be for a third title challenger to enter the scene. Who's currently third in the standings?
You know what?
It is
you know what?
Zorzo.
I'll give you your fair dues. However, you've been severely assisted by that late safety car in this one. Last lap, however, at the Spanish Grand Prix, Zorzo is marching on to be a third championship challenger in this championship. He's on course for 16 points, and I mean, he's thoroughly deserved them. That safety car race, that was immense. Matteo, however, is fighting for his life here, trying to get past Flotman. It's still these two. They are inseparable here at this point in the Grand Prix. Newt is doing a great job to hold on in the background, you can see. But this is the battle all our eyes are feasted on. It's Matteo looking to get past Flotman. This could have easily been the battle for the race lead had this race gone differently. We'll have to wait and see. Danielle gets past Enzo for the final points paying positions. All this chaos has now led to Enzo and Ian fighting for 11th and 12th. And Enzo up the inside of Danielle, who he has also been in a train with. Or he was for the majority of this race. Danielle, of course, did manage to pit for the soft compounded tyres, but we're coming through the final couple of corners now. Is Matteo able to get the job done on Flotman? No, don't think so. Zane picks up a 3-second time penalty. Matteo is going to have to settle for what he's got. There's a yellow flag in the middle sector. However, rounding the final corner, we have had home heroes at Monza. We now have one at Barcelona. He cut through the field like a hot knife through butter. Zorzo, welcome to the Championship Challenge. Welcome to the top step of your home podium. Zorzo wins the Spanish Grand Prix. Max van der Gies comes home second, and Diogo Silva comes home third for another PSGL F2 podium. Flotman fourth, Matteo fifth, FedEx sixth, Newt seventh. 4 points behind Matteo, although he didn't want the gap to extend. But look, I don't think that's half bad considering how this race was going at the very start of it.
Certainly not. It was a two-man's fight. It has turned in towards 3 people fighting for this title. FVR Zorzo is the name. Absolutely.
No, Jacob stealing a fast slap.
We don't care about the point, do we? Zorzo, just incredible. Pitted at the right moment due to that safety car. And of course you need luck, but every single champion, even in Formula 1, has needed a little bit of luck. Just look at Nico Rosberg in 2016. Lewis Hamilton there retiring with mechanical damage. Look at what happened at other things. People would say that Max, his title was down to luck in 21 due to regulations. And other things. But let's not get into that. Zorzo, this is the bit of luck that he needed. Matteo, not ideal. 5th place, he would have liked to get more points. Knuth in 7th place, likely to be 8th. Not ideal for him as well. Definitely wants to get more points. Zorzo, starting 3rd, finishing 1st, did exactly what he needed to do. What a drive from the Spaniard, winning your home race. That's the exact outcome that he wanted to see today.
Absolutely, and that leads us nicely into your full race results. It is, of course, Zorzo who finished in first with a race time of 45 minutes and 35 seconds. Then it is Max van der Gies who finished in second, followed by Diogo Silva. Then it is Flotman, Matteo, Fede, Newt, Dirk, Danielle, Johan, and it is Ian Van Noonen, Enzo, Zane, Jacob Konius who got the fastest lap. Your non-finishers were Phil, Tales, Covers, and Dark. We're going to hopefully try and get a bit of an interview. I believe Timon has just gone to swap to his other mic. Hopefully we can get an interview. Yes, our race winner Zorzo will be joining us. So great to have Zorzo with us. Timon's back. Hello, Timon. We're going to hear from Zorzo in a moment. Unfortunately, Max will not be speaking to us. But of course, next week we do head to Miami. Welcome to Miami. As Will Smith probably didn't say it like that, but he said it in some way. Very interesting track, Miami. That could cause problems for the championship challengers.
It definitely could. Miami is a very different shape of track. I was thinking of Las Vegas for some reason. I was thinking, where have I seen my drivers practice for this week so far? But it is indeed Miami. I'm only a second off the pace there. I'm surprisingly decent at Miami, but you have that slow sector in the middle, and you do also have a few straights where you're able to easily overtake. So really, the overtaking opportunities are really set down to one real spot. Or two actually, because you got two long straights. But besides that, this track does give you the opportunity to really make use of your tires, and if you push well enough, you might be able to gain enough time to really break that DRS zone. It is the opportunity to do so, but someone has joined this VC, and it is our race winner, Zorzo. Congrats!
Yeah, sorry, I just brought Zorzo in while you were talking. Zorzo, congratulations! You're the Spanish Grand Prix winner. It's a win at home. Can you ask for much better?
No, I really can't. I really like this track and everything. I thought everything went wrong at first, but then I had good reflexes with the safety car and I pulled in. And yeah, rest was pretty nice.
First thing we got to talk about is that safety car restart. You went on a mental run, cutting through cars left, right, and centre. Talk us through that, because that was brilliant.
Well, there was actually two restarts. In the first one,
Sorry, the second one.
Yeah, okay. Then, yeah, I had once again good reflexes and overtook, I don't know, 3-4 cars in the first lap. It was pure down to the tire advantage. And yeah, I was trying to not use much battery because I wanted to save it in case I needed it in the final lap, but it wasn't necessary.
Then, of course, really interesting race from start to finish. We saw a few incidents here and there. You started on the softs, of course, and they kind of fell out towards the end of the first stint. We saw you fall down the field a bit. What was your thinking in terms of that? Did you think, okay, this race is done, I've fallen down the field, or was it always the plan to maybe fall back or one step back, two steps forward, as they say?
Softs were actually pretty good. I had connection problems, so like cars transported, so I didn't really know where they were, and I lost like 4 positions because of that. So it wasn't really due to the drop off for the softs. But then, yeah, I think I lost 3 positions in the pits with the first safety car, which was really unlucky. People were slowing down. I think that's not allowed, to be honest. And yeah, I think it was the right decision, even though it didn't really end well.
And Timon, I'll give him his credit here, mentioned that if you had a good race today, you might get back in the championship challenge. You did have a good race today. You won it, of course, first win of the season. Do you consider yourself back in the hunt for the title?
I really would like to, but I don't think so because sadly I have to miss next race. I have an exam, so yeah. I think I will only have 2 races remaining, so it will be really difficult. But it's not impossible.
I feel you with the exams. I really do. Timon, any questions?
I mean, yeah, I was gonna talk about the championship, of course, being what was being done. So my question pretty much got stolen from me. But yeah, those moves were amazing early on. What was your reaction when you saw the 4.5 second gap that you got after the incident behind? Were you like, oh, relief? I got the win.
Yeah, I was relieved because finally had good luck in a race. All season I haven't had really good luck. I've been really unlucky in most of the races, and even in this one, I was really unlucky at first, but then it happened a miracle. I don't know.
Yeah. Congratulations, and Evan Shinchik, I don't know how you pronounce that name. He says that you're the GOAT.
So
Yeah. I
there you
have
go.
to give credit to him. He was engineering me today, and
Oh, that's OP,
without him,
Evan, isn't it?
it probably wasn't possible.
Yeah. He's not OP anymore. I don't think we're allowed to say that.
Oh yeah,
but,
sorry. No, he was OP Evan for years, and then stuff
he
happened.
was in
but-
OP. Yes. Let's
Hello,
keep it
Evan.
that.
The better Evan.
I wouldn't necessarily say so, but yeah, congratulations, Zorzo. And normally
you.
we say, hopefully we see you back in next week, but I don't think that will be happening. So let's hopefully see you here again in 2 weeks.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Buenos noches, Zorzo. I think that's how they say it over in Spain. Your Spanish Grand Prix winner, of course. Next week, we head to Miami for the Miami Grand Prix, as we previously discussed. But what a race we had here in Spain. Unfortunately, we're not going to hear from Diogo or Curvis this evening. They've opted out of an interview, which is more than okay. But we had issues. We got through them. We got timing sorted on his mic. That doesn't even sound that bad, but he says it's his bad mic. And then we had an absolute cracker of a Grand Prix. And I think that's all we can ask for here this evening on PSGL. So from myself and from Timon alongside me, thank you very much for joining us. We shall see you next week at Miami. If you are interested in the PSGL F1 action, stay here. It'll automatically redirect you over once our commercials conclude. Stay safe, stay well, and we shall see you next time. Bye-bye.
Desperately trying to hang on. He's got the inside off. Here he's through on the left hand side. Hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the ghost is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.
Cocaine to my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though.